Hi friends, this is Anna Hellman. I'm here today to share a really cute Christmas card with you. So I made today's card with the triangle stamp set from our holiday catalog, along with the coordinating triangle dies. And this is it. As you can see, I've used this winter snow embossing folder in the background. And I just love this. I love this embossing folder. And I thought this stamp set was really fun. I think these geometric Christmas trees are just kind of a nice change from a lot of the traditional things that I use for my Christmas projects. So I do have to tell you a story because I want to be honest. So when I saw this stamp set and the dies in the annual catalog, I I looked at this and I was like, who would want that? I know that's terrible. I've had people order this and it took a little time to grow on me. This is just a little story in that we all have different preferences. We all have different taste, and that's why it's nice that Stampin' Up! Has such a variety of stamps and tools and, you know, all the fun stuff that we have. But I did not like it at all when I first saw it. And then I started realizing that, you know what, you could make quilt cards with this. And I've made different types of quilt cards in the past, and I really like them. So anyway, I started thinking about that, and then I saw this one in the holiday catalog, and I just love it. So I have ended up with the entire collection. As you can see, we're going to make this one today, and sometime in the future, I will definitely be back making some quilt cards with the right triangle set. So I'll show you what we need. We just need our white card base. It measures 5.5 by 8.5. It's folded in half, and I did already emboss it with that folder just to prepare it for the video. Now, if you're doing this at home, you may want to start with it not embossed. That would be my recommendation, and to actually emboss it later. And then I did go ahead and cut my triangles out. Now, if you are just making one of these, you may want to stamp them and then cut them out. However, I have not stamped mine. I'm going to show you in a few minutes why. I'm going to show you a really cool trick with the Stamparatus, which if you follow along with what I do, you've seen this before, but if you have not, it's a really cool trick. So the first thing we will do is stamp these trees. And we're going to use the Stamparatus for this. This is a really nice trick to be able to get perfectly centered stamped images on your die cuts. And also, if you're doing very many of these, since this is for Christmas, I thought I wanted to show you how to do this. If you wanted to make 10 or 20 or 500 of these, I'll show you how to set this up so that you can stamp and die cut them pretty quickly. So I have a piece of our small grid paper here on my Stamparatus. I also have my foam mat because we're using photopolymer stamps, so we need our foam mat in here. So I have a piece of the small grid paper. I mounted these stamps. There was no particular placement for this, but the two that I wanted to be green, I put on this plate right here, and the two that the other one that I wanted to be Poppy Parade is up here on the other one. So I mounted them on there. I did go ahead and stamp once so that I can see on my paper where they are going to be placed. Now I have the negative space from my cuts from my triangles that I'm going to bring in here and place precisely around my stamped images. And I have some washi tape. I'm going to tape those in place. And this is going to be my guide for where to put my die cuts. So we use this as our guide to put the die cuts in there. Then they will be stamped precisely in the center of the die cuts of the paper. So this all works as long as this paper does not shift. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. You want to make sure that paper is right in the corner. So I will do these two first. So I'll put this one in and the smaller one in. And I have Granny Apple green ink, so I will ink both of these up with this. And this bigger triangle stamp is one that you just cannot see whether the ink is on there or not. So hopefully this works. Give it a good press. They do like to pop out of there a lot of times. So those look good. So this one I am done with. Got that one done well. This one, if you'll notice on my card, I use that stamp, but then there's also another stamp that if you want to use it, comes back and adds in the little stars. So I am now going to place this on top of my triangle and hopefully get it where I want it with those stars centered in those little sections. So bring this over and get it mounted to my top plate. Now, I get this other one in. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green on this one, Poppy Parade on this one. You know what? Let's switch it up a little. Let's get wild and crazy in today's video. I'm going to ink both of these with this Poppy Parade. So this one will be just a little different than my sample. Now we can bring this down and give it a good press. And now these two are stamped perfectly. So it takes a minute to set this up, but if you're going to make a bunch of these, this is a really great way you can do all your die cutting ahead of time. You can cut through a couple of pieces of paper at the same time, and then you'll do your die cutting faster. Then you can slide these right in here and do your stamping really fast, and they will all be perfect. So I'll bring my card base in here. The first thing I'll stamp is the Joy and Cheer. Now I mentioned at the beginning that if you are doing this at home, I would suggest doing your stamping first. It's best if you can do your stamping before you're embossing, but I thought I would show you for this video that you can, in fact, stamp after you emboss sometimes. I'm going to give this a really good press. And that looks pretty good. There's one little spot it didn't ink perfectly. And I think the same thing on my original. So that looks pretty good. Now I need to arrange my trees where I'm going to want them on the card. And this will give me an idea of where I want to place the trunks and the stars. Okay, so I think I like that. So I'll come in, I am using Smoky Slate ink with this tree trunk stamp. I do have a stamp mounted on each side of my block here. If you ever run low on blocks, that's kind of a good way to make some more use out of the blocks that you have. Okay, we got those two. Now I'll scoot these out of the way to do that center one. Now I need to put them back, and we'll do the stars. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this stamp set. I know it's a little bit different than a lot of our sets, but like I said, I kind of fell in love with it when I saw it. Now I have Daffodil Delight for the stars. Oh, we have a crooked tree. I better straighten that up so that I know where to put my star. Now you could set up your trunks and your stars on the Stamparatus as well and kind of help with the placement for that if you're going to make multiples of these. So now we just need to attach our trees. So the one in the center, I will attach directly to the card. Use some of our multi-purpose glue. If you're somebody who sticks pieces down on your card and you get frustrated because they're not exactly where you wanted them, this glue is really nice because it allows you to have a little wiggle room once you lay it down. So that's one benefit of the glue. Now I will put dimensionals on the backs of these trees. I showed a trick the other day with using your Take Your Pick tool for these, which I love. My Take Your Pick tool has wandered off to another work area where I've been stamping, so I don't have it right here, or I would use it. I like that. I like that with the red stars instead of that one being all green. Okay, so that is most of it. Now, if you notice, I have a few of our snowflake adhesive backed sequins on this one. So I will go ahead and add a few of those to this card. I have been using these little snowflakes on all sorts of things. They go with pretty much anything. They're easy to use. You get a ton of them in the pack. I'm going to put some of these all over the place. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope this gives you another idea of a card you might want to make for Christmas this year. Keep stopping back in. I'm going to have lots of Christmas card ideas. We'll have lots of fall card ideas. Lots of all kinds of project ideas. I have some really fun 3D projects planned as well. So keep stopping back in. You can get more ideas and inspiration on my blog at scrappingstampingandstuff.com. If you have ideas for future videos, please let me know. I do like to help answer your questions and solve your crafting problems and give you some ideas for things you are looking to make. So thank you for joining in. I hope to see you again next time.